Mississippi State University's College of Business creates connections that can change lives, with more than $2 million available in scholarships next year. Take advantage of the top research institution in the state. Professors have practical experience in their field, and students have the opportunity to work on live projects with partner companies. Earn your MBA online in as few as 10 courses from U.S. News & World Report's Top 100 program. Give your business career a head start. Visit business.msstate.edu to learn more.
Welcome to our second episode of the Bulldog Business Show. I am your host, Scott Grawe, Dean of the College of Business. We are thrilled to be back here again, sharing updates about your College of Business here at Mississippi State University. Today, I'm joined by Ricky Clifton. He is coordinator of career engagement for our MBA students. And Ricky, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I look forward to it.
Good deal. Let's start off. Just tell us a little bit about your Mississippi State story. Sure. What is it that brought you here into your current role, and what is it that excites you about working with our students?
Sure. So I am a Mississippi State graduate twice. I have an electrical engineering degree and MBA. So I'm back in the program that I feel like had some contribution to helping me in my own career. So that's exciting for me. How I ended up here, I spent about 30 years in mostly manufacturing and design for medical devices. Retired early last year, from a global health tech company, and had the opportunity to come back to the place that played a big part in my own career. So I'm excited to do that. Excited to work with students. Excited to work with employers and the great faculty and staff and leadership of this university. It's funny how I actually ended up here. I came here for an alumni breakfast in the atrium back football season about a year and a half ago, and met Dr. Oswald. Talked to her a little bit about this open position that I'd seen on the website, and told her my background in a nutshell, and asked her if that's kind of what she was looking for. And a couple of months later, ended up starting in this role. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, you've only been here a few months longer than I've been here, so we both kind of had a chance to learn some things together, and,
Yep.
and one of the things that I've enjoyed is seeing you work with our students. So our students seem to really enjoy working with you. So tell us a little bit about how it is that you engage with it. How do you reach out to the students, or how do the students find you? I mean, how does this process get started?
Yep. Good question. I interact a lot with the students on the front end as they start their program in the MBA, the one-year program. I spend a couple hours with them during what they call Springboard Week, which is kind of an MBA orientation week. And I talk to them a lot about what we're going to do from an MBA Plus standpoint, which is a series of events and opportunities to network with employers throughout the semester. And we've already had about 6 or 7 of those just through the summer, and those have gone really well. The best thing to me about working with students is, there's so much going on there. They're really one of the main reasons why I wanted to come back here. They've got so many things going on. They're really busy. It's just fun to engage with them on an individual basis, and understand what their dreams are from a career standpoint, and do what I can to help them, put them in position to achieve those dreams.
Great. What kind of things have you, in working with our students here, on the Starkville campus, what are some of the things that you've learned, whether it's, about our employers that are here looking for our students, or about our students that are here, working to take their career to the next level?
So part of it is, on the student side, I try to split my time evenly between students and employers. On the student side, there's there's so many things that they're doing, that they're involved in. Some of it social, some of it academic, and then their own jobs and own work. It's just trying to find creative ways to fit into those schedules with them. That's one of the things that has been a learning experience for me. From an employer standpoint, I look for every opportunity I can to engage with new employers who haven't traditionally recruited at Mississippi State. Many of them have. It's been a long time. So I try to build and strengthen those relationships. I look to try to create new relationships. Got a couple of events coming up in August that involve employer business forums around the state, and I'm looking forward to finding new opportunities for our students there as well.
So when you go to these events and you have these conversations with employers, I'm sure one of the questions that you get is, well, what am I getting with an MBA from Mississippi State University? Mm-hmm. If I'm hiring one of your students, what am I getting for that? Mm-hmm.
Well, from a talent standpoint, I think we have top-notch students, and with an employer, I try to build talent and trust relationships. I feel like if they can just see the talent that is at Mississippi State, I think that helps establish the trust, and I think it makes them want to put Mississippi State on their recruiting rotation. I firmly believe that. And, Mississippi State students have done a lot, they've accomplished a lot, and there's a lot to offer from a talent standpoint.
Yeah. One of the things I've appreciated since I've been here and just in our time here together is you didn't waste any time in bringing speakers and new individuals to campus. Mm-hmm. It's not just about hey, we've got this job available. A lot of it's professional development as well. And you've brought a number of speakers in to work with our students on that. Talk to us a little bit about, some of the speakers that you've brought in and why do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Just recently we've had speakers in financial services. We've had speakers in real estate. We've had, professional development opportunities with, LinkedIn experts, with lots of other experts like that. We've got human resources coming up in a few weeks. A lot of different career opportunities for business school students. And I try to present that to them in such a way that, hey, you may not be interested in a career in, say, real estate or a career in financial services. You may have something else on your radar, but there's more stuff to this MBA Plus event. It may spark an interest that you didn't know was there, or take financial services, for example. Those speakers also talked about personal financial planning that will benefit them, maybe not today, but a year from now when they're out, in their own career. So, I try to work in as many different angles with each MBA Plus opportunity as we can.
Great. When you sit down with a student on an individual basis, what are some of the things that you're talking with them about? What type of guidance are you providing for them?
We do a lot of resume reviews. We do a lot of interview preparation. In my own career, I've recruited and hired many people, some in early career stages, some with 10, 15, 20 years experience. From an early career standpoint, like our students, I can help them. They're going to go through a long and laborious interview process, so I can explain that process to them, and hopefully make it a little bit easier time for them, take some of the stress out of it. We also talk about taking advantage of every networking opportunity that you can. in getting to the job offer, that is never a one contact thing. It's after many different points of contact. So networking is very important. Also, think about your career, have a career plan, but be open to the opportunities that you didn't anticipate. Think about the things that come up in all of our careers, and be open to considering those things.
I can tell you, as a finance major, as an undergrad, being dean at Mississippi State University was probably not the first thing on my list, but I wouldn't change a thing about all the steps that brought me here. So, you're right. I mean, just being open to consider something new, different, outside the box. I mean, that's critical for our students and for their own professional development. So, I'm happy to hear that you're continuing to have those conversations with our students. One of the other things that I think is really unique about your work is you work very closely with Bethany Mills and our career services office on campus. That happens to be right, an adjacent building to us, but we do have a university-wide career services office that you work very closely with.
Yep. They are right next door, so very convenient. I spend most days of the week, I'll spend a little bit of time over there. I'll give them some credit. They have a new Career Center website. I've gone through it with the students and kind of walked through all the resources that are available on that new website. One of the things that's really cool is, they put a lot of time into this, I can tell, is the interactive career placement dashboard. In that, a lot of useful information on placement for graduates throughout the whole university. So especially the College of Business, undergraduate, graduate, so many filters on there. It's a very powerful dashboard, and it just went live like a week ago. So I've spent several days the last week kind of understanding that, troubleshooting, and they've made a few updates.
Okay, great. So, one of the things I do want to leave everybody with is if you are interested in our MBA students, reach out to Ricky. He can certainly help you walk through the process. It's no longer a matter of just contacting your favorite professor. Working through the process allows each of our students to get an opportunity. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Mississippi State University's College of Business creates connections that can change lives with more than $2 million available in scholarships next year. Take advantage of the top research institution in the state. Professors have practical experience in their field, and students have the opportunity to work on live projects with partner companies. Earn your MBA online in as few as 10 courses from U.S. News & World Report's Top 100 program. Give your business career a head start. Visit business.msstate.edu to learn more.